Hello and welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Abia in Abia State, Nigeria. First, the headlines. Abia State government begins forwarding of workers' uploaded certificates to institutions for verification. Southeast senators meet Attorney General of the Federation seeking Nnamdi Kanu's release. Again, Nigeria Customs intercepts 270 million naira weapons at Lagos Airport. Thanks for joining us on the news at this period. My name is Esther Chima. Now the news in details. Sequel to the directive by the Abia State government on its workers to upload their certificates and service credentials for record purposes, 36,875 academic certificates have been uploaded and forwarded to various institutions for verification and certification. Commissioner for Information and Culture, Prince Oke Kanu, who disclosed this, added that a total of 25,458 career documents have similarly been uploaded to designated points. Members of the Workers' Union who had protested against this directive started complying with it, especially as salaries of those that did not comply were reportedly withheld or threatened. The commissioner added that 7,582 certificates of the 36,875 uploaded so far have been moved to various institutions for them to be verified. Sachikwe Udensi, a security consultant with the International Criminal Police Organization Interpol, has slammed the Speaker of Abia State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Emmanuel Emeruwa, for his disregard for journalists in the state. In a monitored radio interview in Umuahia, Udensi described the Speaker's action as a very big slap to the freedom of the press. He further described the argument by the Speaker that he respects the profession of journalism as a lie. We are still continuing with the coverage of the power situation in Aba, where power supply is still said to be epileptic in some areas. Residents of Umojima are lamenting poor power supply in their area. Our correspondent Amarachi Osondo reports that poor supply of electricity has made it extremely difficult to run a business in Aba, which mostly affects small businesses, making them to become heavily reliant on self-generated power. Residents lament that the power supply in the area is quite poor and not reliable, with the bills coming in excess, while some said they have not had power for a long time in Umojima. The residents are pleading with relevant government agencies to assist them by putting in proper measures in place to curb frequent power failures in the area, as this will help them set up businesses where they can earn a living to cater for their families. Recall that Umojima is the host community of the Abapa Limited. Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has commenced building emergency shelters across the 9 Niger Delta states to aid flood victims. The states are Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, Imo, Ondo and Rivers. Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, the Managing Director of NDDC, disclosed this at a one-day workshop in Port Harcourt, focusing on implementing a regional flood disaster emergency response strategy. He said that the Niger Delta was faced with an existential threat due to climate change, which could potentially devastate the region and have an enormous socio-economic impact. Ogbuku disclosed that the facility in each of the states would be equipped with essential amenities such as school, hospital, cafeteria, police post, and a recreation center. A heavy rainfall early Wednesday morning flooded many parts of Lagos, making it difficult for commuters to move to their destinations. Lagosians barely woke up from sleep when the rain started to pour in torrents, disrupting daily activities and flooding the roads. With the downpour, workers in the nation's commercial capital have struggled to reach their workplaces. Many who defied the rain and left their homes with the hope of getting to their places of work were seen stranded at different bus stops while trying to commute in the city. Federal government will today, that is Thursday, meet the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions. The meeting, to be held at the office of the Minister of Education, is aimed at forestalling a strike by the unions. The meeting is coming on the heels of the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum the Joint Action Committee, JAC, of SANU and NASU issued to the federal government to pay them their 4-month withheld salaries, or they will shut down universities. Inspector General of Police Kayode Agbetokun is seeking security cooperation between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. He stated this when he received the delegation from the UAE police. According to him, the enhanced cooperation between the two countries was essential to safeguard the interests of both nations' citizens. Less than 48 hours after announcing interception of a container laden with arms and ammunition illegally imported into the country from Turkey in Onne port, Nigeria Customs Service says it has seized assorted arms, drones and military accoutrements worth 1.5 billion naira exported from Turkey to Lagos State. Comptroller General of Customs Adewale Adeniyi made this known at the Moritala Mohammed Area Command of the service. The custom boss also put the value of military and paramilitary accessories improperly imported at 1.29 billion naira, with the total value of the item put at 1.5 billion naira. He gave a breakdown of the seized items as 148 pieces of drones, 172 pieces of ballistic vest, 15 pieces of ballistic plates, 1 piece of ballistic helmet, 8 pieces of walkie-talkie, 9,172 pieces of military and paramilitary badges, 20 pieces of camouflage uniform, 100 pieces of camouflage vest, 172 pieces of camouflage cap, and 120 pieces of binoculars. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has said, contrary to public opinion, he earned a total allowance of 25 million naira while in the office. Dogara, who represented the Bogoro, Das, Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, served as the 13th Speaker of the House from 2015 to 2019. He, however, did not specify whether the 25 million naira total allowance was monthly, yearly, or for the whole of the 4 years spent in the House. He wondered where the idea of National Assembly members receiving bogus salaries, which is always trending, emanated from. Senate has constituted a 15-member committee to unravel the circumstances surrounding the persistent importation of hazardous petroleum products by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited. The resolution to investigate the importation of hazardous petroleum products was sequel to a motion sponsored by Asuko Ekpeyon from Cross River. Senator Ekpeyon and other senators that spoke noted that imported petroleum products are below the standard quality of Nigeria and have been circulated across the markets. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, announced the composition of the committee during the plenary. He said the committee will be chaired by the Senate leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele. Senate has rejected a motion to stop service chiefs from diverting funds meant for the procurement of ammunition to the construction of universities and other unprioritized projects. The resolution followed a motion sponsored by the Senate Chief Whip, Ali Ndume, on the need to sympathize with the people of Goza town for the bombing incident. Senator Oshemole drew the attention of lawmakers to what he describes as diversion of huge budgetary sums earmarked for security by the National Assembly by past security chiefs, decrying a situation where monies meant for the fight against insecurity are used in private homes and universities. Responding, the Senate President put the amendment proposed by Mr. Oshemole to vote, and the majority of the senators voted against it. Mr. Akpabio ruled accordingly. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says the issue of releasing Nnamdi Kanu was not part of his discussion with the Southeast governors in Enugu State. The former president and Chief Emeka Anyoko met with the governors on their own invitation to discuss regional development issues. According to a statement by Special Assistant to Media to the former president, Kehinde Akinyemi, the purported release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra by the federal government was not part of the discussion. He stated that the regional development issues included that of security and infrastructure. Others were economic and cooperative collaboration, which was meant to implement the National Economic Development Agenda. Senators from the Southeast have met with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi to demand the release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The senators made a call in Abuja during their closed-door meeting with Mr. Fagbemi. The senators, numbering 15, were led by Enyimba Abaribe from Abia State. They claimed that unless Mr. Kanu were released, social and economic activities in the Southeast region would continue to be stagnant. The senators handed over their letter of appeal to the release to Mr. Fagbemi for onward transmission to the president.
The Southeast Senate caucus, just like the rest of the members of the Southeast, put the business leaders, the clergy, the political people, and everybody in the Southeast are all very worried about it, knowing that that has been the fulcrum, I will say, for what is going on in the Southeast regarding the insecurity. All the criminals and all the people going around causing mayhem in the Southeast have all said that it is because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being held. We know that this is not the truth. It's just that we have gotten to the point where people are now hijacking a legitimate call for his release and turning it into something that has led to deaths and destruction of properties and so many other undescribable mayhem that's going on in the Southeast. And so we can...
You're still watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business and sports updates. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Glad to know you're still there. Now the news continues. Around 40,000 polling stations across the United Kingdom opened today from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. as approximately 50 million British citizens participate in the general election to elect members of parliament for the House of Commons. The election operates under the UK's first-past-the-post system, where each of the 650 constituencies elects one member of parliament. The party securing at least 326 seats forms the government, with each leader becoming the prime minister. In the absence of a majority, the current prime minister has the first opportunity to forge a coalition government. Voting options include in-person at polling stations, by post, or through a designated proxy. Senate has called the executive law in the implementation of the capital component of the 2024 budget, saying there is a need for the government to get ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government to implement the budget. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Senator Solomon Adeola, gave the task when the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Medin, appeared before the panel over the budget performances. The Senate also urged the federal government to intensify efforts in the funding in funding the capital components of the 3 national budgets which are running concurrently in the country. Adeola lamented the poor funding of the capital components of the budgets and urged the coordinating minister for the economy to improve on it. And now sports. Former Super Eagles coach Finidi George says he is looking forward to making an impact in his hometown of Port Harcourt and his boyhood club Rivers United after being announced as the club's new coach. He was announced as the head coach of the 2022 MPFL champions on a 2-year deal with a formal presentation at the Sharks Stadium in Port Harcourt. The 53-year-old is making a return to the dugout barely 3 weeks after resigning as the head coach of the Super Eagles, having managed only 2 games. Since winning the MPFL in 2022, Rivers United have played 2 consecutive seasons on the continent, but their 8th place finish last season leaves Finidi with the target of restoring their continental status. At Rivers United, he takes over the leadership from head coach Evans Oginyi, who guided the club until the end of last season after the dismissal of the long-serving Stanley Eguma. And with that sports story, we wrap up this edition of the news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Abia State government begins forwarding of workers' uploaded certificates to institutions for verification. Southeast senators meet Attorney General of Federation seeking Nnamdi Kanu's release. Again, Nigerian custom intercepts 270 million naira weapons at Lagos Airport. Now that's our package of the news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the production crew, my name is Esther Chima. Appreciating you for watching.